Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mantasy Fantasy Podcast.
Ooh, featuring James Rippin' and Taryn Weingang.
And I'm David All Day Dong Pemberton. Let's get into it, James.
Well, here we are. October 8th, 2015. It's been a couple months since we last talked.
James, it's been a long time. So
a lot of shit's happened.
A lot of shit's happened, good and bad.
You're becoming a dad.
I know. I'm gonna be
Congratulations.
on Maury. Yeah. Well, Kelly's gonna become a mom. We're gonna go on Maury next week out and find out who the.
So where are you giving it up to? Argentina, China, Peru.
Whoever will pay most for the pound, because this kid's gonna be huge.
Oh, for the pound, so you're going to Europe. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, this is a good
thing. For you. That's
James,
awesome.
I heard things are going well for you. You've got a girlfriend now. Is that right?
Stop. Yeah, I do. I guess I bought her online.
And
so.
That's good. That's good. How much did you pay? Was that by the pound too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely. She's from I think England. I don't know.
Okay. Well, whatever she is.
I was drunk.
She's huge.
I was drunk when I bought her. So.
I wasn't sure if she was. I saw her at the football game where you took pictures with her.
Oh,
wasn't sure if that was the Goodyear blimp of your girlfriend. Looked good though. And I heard you actually got laid too. Is that correct?
Oh my God, it was amazing. I feel like a new man. Like there's no better feeling than being inside of another man.
I know.
I made his ass look like a Reuben sandwich after I was done with him. It was pretty great stuff.
I would totally eat that too. So let's get into the first piece of. I'm a man that likes to address controversy, James, and that controversy. Let's address the elephant in the room. The Weingans weren't at the draft. We planned all year.
Oh my God.
We wanted the Weingans for the draft.
What in the hell was that all about?
What can I say?
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop.
And you seem to pick pretty well for being hammered drunk.
I was very hammered drunk.
You got to be there next year. Everybody was worried. We were lighting shit on fire at Jansen's house.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Well, no, we really did. We lit a tree on fire.
Well, I didn't want to be wearing pink tutus all night at the draft.
Okay, well.
Shout out to Lawson.
Oh, that's cute. Okay, well, you know what, James? Next year, be there, or I'll fucking kill you. That's pretty simple, James.
Yeah, get out of here.
Okay, let's lead into the first bit we're going to talk about. Let's talk about the first round bus. Bus a nut! Ooh! Ladies and gentlemen, there has been way too many people this year in the draft who have completely bust a nut. And we're going to go through them. Starting with me, James, my guy.
Eddie Lacy, man. He hasn't been coming through for him. Green Bay, he got hurt for how long? 2 weeks? 1 week? 2 weeks?
2 weeks, and even the week he played, he was okay.
Mediocre. I mean, why would you run when you have Aaron Rodgers? Guy hasn't thrown an interception at Green Bay since, Nam, basically. So why hand it off? But Starks has been coming through. He's got a couple big runs since Lacy's been out. So, I mean, he was expected to be the, number one running back in the league?
Yeah.
He's not showing up, so what's going on?
Next one I think we got to talk about is Doug's Marshawn Lynch. Where is this guy?
Where's the Skittles, Doug? You got to give it to him because he's not there either.
I'm not tasting the rainbow, Doug. I don't think anybody is right now.
I mean, your whole team is the Seahawks.
Yes.
Get your whole team the Skittles, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh. Drafting 2 Seahawks within 2 rounds of each other, and then on top of it, trading for Jimmy Graham, who has been a complete bussin' up.
Ooh, bust me, baby.
He has not been good, Doug. You got to sell now. Sell now. Do yourself a favor. Your team's already drowning in a turd bowl, and you're going to make it worse. This sequel's going to be worse than last year. Next person.
Next up is DeMarco Murray for the Eagles. The whole Eagles running team, basically. No one's really shined besides Ryan Matthews last week. He had, 120-something yards?
Yep.
But other than that, I mean, they have no running team or passing team, really.
I'll be honest, I was shocked that Jansen picked him first, and then to follow it up, he just has not been there at all. I think he was a guy last year who just was fortunate enough to be behind a good line, and now, just like I predicted in our last podcast, he isn't going to be anything for the rest of the season. I think, if anything, he's going to be a problem for that team. He's already getting clearly upset about his playing time and not getting the ball
and
enough.
He's made it public.
He's made it public. Next one we're talking about, Justin's Jeremy Hill.
Very sketchy situation with Jeremy Hill and Gio Bernard. Everyone thought Jeremy Hill was going to get the start this year, which he did, and then he had those 2 fumbles against who was it?
It wasn't Kansas City. It would have been the. I don't care.
Drawing a blank. He fumbled twice in a game.
All I care is I got Gio, Justin. What do you guys say about that? He's still getting more carries. And this guy was your number 1 draft pick.
Between them, they're both a very I shouldn't say sketchy, but it's a very questionable pick to even start those two because who's going to get the latter half of the carries. Guaranteed Jeremy Hill will get the goal line carries. That's no question. But when you give Gio the ball, what the hell is he going to do? Is he going to run across field? Is he going to,
He's the lightning to your thunder, Justin.
So,
And I'm loving it. All right, the last person. This guy's extremely controversial in our league. Antonio Brown. James, I know you got a lot to say on him.
I loved him for 3 weeks.
Oh,
it was great.
That's the longest relationship you've ever been in.
Ooh, yeah. But he was great, and then I saw, Ben go down, and I made an impulse trade with Lawson, which made me, kind of question it, but we'll see what happens.
It seems the league seems like that you've already tested trades positive. I've told a lot of people my opinion. Long term, I think you're going to come out of the trades like Magic Johnson.
I'm in the HIV mode right now.
Right now, yeah, you're in the HIV mode. Things aren't bad. You're getting the pills. You're doing okay. But right now, as far as your actual team goes, Keenan Allen seemed to do pretty well for you that first week. And I think until Big Ben decides to come back, I think you get the better part of that trade because it doesn't seem Michael Vick's anything what he used to be.
I mean, the reason I made that trade was I saw Keenan Allen had like at least 30 targets the game before. So he's obviously Phillip Rivers' favorite receiver as of now. But Gates is back, so that could cause a huge problem on me.
That could.
So I stand here right now. I'm confident with what trade happened. So we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on to the next segment. The next segment. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for trade debate.
Ooh, court is in session.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first court hearing case we will go over is going to be Adam versus Tyler Tackett pre-draft. James, go. Your court decision.
Should we be surprised? Last year they did it. This year they did it. It worked out for both of them last year. Why not this year?
James is ruling.
I say objection. Collusion.
Next trade debate. Adam and Doug. Who got the better of this one, James?
Ooh, I think it was a pretty even trade, but now I think Doug has post trades because Graham hasn't lived up to expectations for Seattle. Obviously, he accepted his role as a blocker guy, really not that much, and they haven't been really passing to him that much. He only has 1 to 5 receptions a game for less than 10 yards, so and maybe a touchdown here or there. Steve Smith worked out for him a lot, and now he got hurt. So who knows how that's going to affect him? Plus Joe Flacco with an quote unquote an elite quarterback. Who knows with that? So Adam got.
James, what is your final decision?
Doug post trades.
All right, on to the last trade debate. The case, Lawson versus James. Probably the most controversial. I'll take this one, James. I'm going to have to give it currently even. Both of you will split the settlement, but I think this could come back to court in a few months, and I could see this going over to Lawson. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut to commercial break.
Here we go. It's time for James's horse claps of the week. Week 1, we had Tackett over myself, 110 to 91 for a 19.1 differential. Week 2, we had myself over David, 96.4 to 44 for 52 points. Week 3, we had Adam P over Gaylaw for a differential of 73 points.
Suck it, Gaylaw.
For week 4, we had Justin over Adam P for a difference of 46.6 points. Now it's time to go to David for Turd of the Week.
Flush that turd down the drain.
All right, time for David's Turd of the Week. Week 1, Doug dropping a big deuce was only 75.8 points. Week 2, myself dropping an almost all-time big dump with a whopping 44 points. Week 3, Justin Fear, 64.8 on a week where almost everybody scored 100. Drops in a big deuce. Week 4, our main man, the attention getter of this league, Adam, Pemberton, with a whopping 51 points compared to every other week. He sucked it big time. Adam is this Turd of the Week.
Ooh.
All right, James, let's get into it. Let's talk Individual teams.
Ooh, it's my favorite segment of the show.
Just trash talk. It's pure what this is.
First up, we got Adam P. My first keyword for him is trade gate. How many trades are you going to make this season?
I think you're out, Adam. I think you're done with the trades. I think you've traded your way into a possible championship, but you got nothing left in the tank.
Don't get me wrong. You have a pretty vicious lineup.
You do.
But either it's blowout or nothing. If none of your players perform, you literally score 50 points.
But
if
let's face it.
But if they all perform, it's 150 points.
He's having more blowouts than a geriatric, farm with a bunch of people that cannot control their bowels. He's doing good. He looks good. But again, he's got nothing left to trade, and nobody wants his turds that he's trying to trade.
And unlike me, is he going to pick up any free agents, or does he have the willpower to do it?
I don't know. But right now, he stands atop of that Stars division.
He's dancing on thin ice right now in the Stars division.
All right, next, Jansen. This gentleman had another malfunction this year at the draft, messing up his entire draft by putting it in some weird, awkward, almost Rain Man-ish order. He managed to somehow draft an amazing draft. He has Freeman from Atlanta, who might be the biggest steal.
Motherfucker, I hate you. I have Tevin Coleman.
That worked out well for you, James. You can sit and watch this.
You can say that, but you know what? God, one of the luckiest draft picks I've ever seen in my life.
Next person on his list, though, Travis Kelce. Best thing to come out of UC since Kenyon Martin.
And then he's got the Broncos D, and they're better than Horse Dong. They're the toughest D in the league. I can firmly say that. They are the toughest defense in the league.
That's the reason that team is undefeated right now, not Peyton Manning. I thought I'd never say that. But Jansen, I think you definitely stand a good chance at becoming back-to-back champions. I think it's a real possibility, at least making the championship. But he could do something unprecedented this year.
We still got a lot of season left, boy. We got 12 weeks left.
Probably the person before the year started that everyone wanted to kill. Your brother, Chris.
God, I hate him. Seriously. Is this kid satisfied with anything?
I don't know.
We came in the season. He wants rule changes. He wants this. We try to do all this stuff, and he's always like, oh my God. And he's making offensive videos of Lawson, which he still should apologize, by the way.
Oh, calling him out again. Just say sorry. It's not that hard. It's what, 3 letters? Is it 3 letters?
Sorry.
Sorry, boo.
Sorry.
You can call him boo.
Ooh. Oh, we're sorry.
Sorry. It's been sorry long time. But seriously, let's get to talking about his team. He doesn't have a bad team. He could definitely make the playoffs in a tight spot.
He's just gotten super unlucky with his first couple of weeks. You know, Peterson's on his way back. He's had a great season. Matty Ice has options now, finally.
Yes. And Cobb has been slotting it up. Just slotting it up all over the place.
Just like your ex-girlfriend Brittany from high school.
Oh! Somebody make sure Chris has got insurance because he just got burnt to the ground. All right, next team. Justin, I mean, he's kind of just hanging on by a thread. I mean, I feel like
Deflate gate. You got lucky as fuck with Tom Brady getting that suspension.
I think you're being nice, James. I think you're being nice. That is his team right now.
He is unstoppable. You can't stop him. Doesn't matter who you put around him. He'll make the Patriots 1,000 times better than what they are on paper.
It's definitely probably the best team in the AFC right now.
Oh, for sure. Now,
the one thing that Justin kind of busted a nut on, Jeremy Hill.
Ooh, busted a nut.
It was bad, and he knows it. Me and Justin have talked about this. This is turning out to be rough for him, having to sit back and watch as Giovanni Bernard still gets more carries. And I know he started Hill last week. He got 2 touchdowns, but in the prior weeks, he's just been kind of a dud.
I mean, but you know with Jeremy Hill, going to get goal line carries. When they get down there, they're going to give it to him. They're not going to give it to small Gio because he can't get through the line. He's too small.
Hey, Gio's gotten 2 touchdowns for him. I can't complain.
But when you give Gio the ball, you know what you're going to do. So, you know, if you own either of them, it's pretty much a questionable pick.
Start, yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about who's in the basement in that division. What's that gentleman's name?
Adam.
I can't remember. I've lost track. This is the gentleman at the draft who told us he had a monstrous draft and had tons of depth.
It was super beast.
Half of which he has dropped. Now this gentleman's, if you look at it on paper, his team is perfect on paper. The problem is, the reality is, his team is a nightmare.
He sucks as much as my vacuum cleaner.
And I've seen that thing. It's amazing. It's industrial.
Your team is not money, beast, or lit. Oof. So you got to figure that out.
Oh,
stat.
You're becoming that poster from middle school where the guy was confidently flying his plane into the ground.
In the long run of our trade, I'll say, on the long run of our trade, it could change his team.
Oh, you hear that? We actually have that documented now. He has that.
Unless you trade him to get a better team. So
we'll see what happens. Now let's switch gears here. Let's go to the Legends division. Tyler Tackett. Good God.
First time we played, week 1, I felt an earthquake on my face with Julio Jones' dong.
Tackett, your team is like a freight train from hell riding straight up the ass of the competition.
Best team in the league.
We can talk about him all day, I feel like.
He's got great starters. He's got depth. I mean, his bench players are starters. That's how good he is.
He's got Bell, who's come back.
That's got to be
hard.
hard.
Fire.
That's got to be hard to go into every week and be like, who am I going to play?
Yes, that must be nice. And he's got Bell, who came back with a fury. Todd Gurley, who he's had sitting on the bench, who somehow pulled off a miracle and just destroyed it.
He's predicted now to have like the best season.
Because
best rookie season out of everybody.
And then you have Julio Jones, who's been doing pretty well until last week. You have Fitzgerald, who where the hell did he come from? Is it still 2011? I think he's
Carson Palmer's with him too.
So
it must be 2011. Who knows?
DeAndre Hopkins, and I have to talk about one of the best draft picks in a long time. He got this gentleman in the 14th round, and he has been a stud from the start.
Tyler Eifert.
He has just been, James, I mean, his team, it's tough to look at when you face
I don't know.
him.
I mean,
I'm going up against him this week, and I feel
he went off week 1, but in the past couple of weeks, it's been so-so.
I know.
But he's always there. The Bengals offense is just, who do you give it to? You have so many weapons with that team.
Yes. Now, I'm going to talk about the next team, working into kind of what James was talking about. James currently has the best player in the league in a free agency pickup of Andy Dalton. Good God, the man looks like an MVP right now.
Red Rocket. And I'm looking at Simon's Red Rocket right now. It's reminding me of Andy Dalton.
Yes, it is. And it looks good from over here. James, currently in the league, you're looking pretty good. You've pulled off 3-1. You also got Greg Olsen, who's been pretty much Cam Newton's only target for that team. He also has Williams from the Bills, who he picked up, who could end up being a pretty solid pick. He's filled in well for McCoy. He's done well. Nobody really knows what the situation is with McCoy, and he might miss some time. He also had Antonio Brown for 3 weeks and then traded him off, and he might have got a good deal on Keenan Allen. Now, James's real steal has been Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, the first week, looked like he was going to be the dud as far as the rookies came, but he has been unstoppable, and so have the Raiders. James, let's move on to the next team.
Next team is your boy, all day dong, David Pemberton. I don't know why he's hooting because it's not that great. Eddie Lacy, your number 1 pick, is a no-show. Where has he been? He got injured, like we said earlier, and, Starks is taking over, and they're kind of splitting carries right now until Lacy gets back to 100%. Latavius Murray, he's been showing up for the Raiders. I've been pretty surprised by him. He gets goal line carries. He's been getting touchdowns, and he's been doing his thing. But everything else with your team is just meh. Your receivers haven't done much. You got T.Y. Hilton, who hasn't done much. I mean, obviously, without Andrew Luck being playing, you can't really expect much with him. And then Jordan Matthews, God knows what's going on with the Eagles right now because Sam Bradford isn't doing his job, let alone with the running backs. And and now you're like we said, your number 1 QB has fallen. Andrew Luck has been playing, so
that's hurting.
That's how it is.
Let's move on to the next team, BJ. I feel like BJ's starting to finally get into the groove of things. I feel like the learning curve's starting to go away a little bit.
I don't know, but hockey season just started, so I don't know if he'll be playing as well as he's been.
I think he's calling you out. You got to beat this motherfucker when you play him next time. I will give BJ credit though. Some of the picks that he has had, especially he might have one of the better free agency pickups in Tyrod Taylor. Nobody would have thought this guy would have in a million years.
I've never even heard of him until they started him this year.
Sound made up. I thought he was something from a Disney cartoon. And then he has Brandon Marshall, who
speaking of 2011,
yes, he was a guy at the draft. Everybody was kind of like, oh yeah, he still plays football, and he's turned out to be absolutely phenomenal. And the Jets have come out of nowhere and been amazing. And
I mean, ever since Geno Smith's getting punched in the face might be the best thing that's ever happened to him. Yes. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's still he you know what? As bad as people put him out to be, I think he's a pretty good quarterback. Yeah. He's pretty mediocre. He won't give you great points, but he won't give you bad points. I mean, he'll get the job done. That's the type of guy he is.
And he's winning football games right now. And let's go to the one last player I wanted to talk about with BJ. Jamal Charles. He has been looking good. He's looking like him old self.
As usual.
And he's been one of the few studs that actually has come to the first round per, maybe Forte and maybe Peterson's definitely up there. Let's go to the last person, and it's the last person we thought of last year, and it's the last person we're thinking of this year. I don't want to talk
about it.
James, I've seen better Air Bud sequels than the team that Doug is trying to put up for this Turd Bowl.
I've seen Boys Next Door sequels
than
this, and there's
how many
10 of
sequels?
them.
Oh my God!
There's
I've
10
only
of them.
seen the first 9.
As you thought like the first 9 weren't good enough.
Yes, and look, I mean, Doug's draft was not too bad. The problem was he probably traded away. Trading away AJ Green seemed to kill him.
Kevin Escobar.
Oh, let's not even get into the Escobar situation. I haven't seen Jansen and Tackett ever laugh that hard. I thought they both were going to have some sort of stroke because their faces were so.
But the
red.
scary thing is he got touched on the opening week.
Touchdown the opening week, which actually made us look kind of stupid. Doug, we'll give it up to you. That pick was not good.
Goddamn, Doug! Holy shit! Get a new team.
You've got to sell the Seahawks.
You got symptoms of trades with Jimmy Graham and your team is the Seahawks, and they're not playing that great. Honestly,
Steve Smith has been your best player from that trade, and the problem is he's doubtful. And without him, your best player on your entire team is James Jones, who from week to week he's a good player, and I feel like he's got the chemistry back with Rodgers a little bit.
With Randall Cobb back, and then you got Devontae Adams. It's their wide receiver core is just super sketchy especially with James Jones, how they just picked him back up. So it's
Doug. Sell while you can. Folks, we're going to cut to another quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our interview of the podcast.
This week, we are interviewing Adam P. Diddy Pemberton. All right.
Welcome, Adam.
Welcome, Adam.
Thank you.
All right, let's ask the first question. James, I'll go first. Adam, do you honestly think you can trade any more than you have?
Every year, I mean, basically for the past 5 years, I've traded about 5 to 7 times a year. So I'm about one more trade.
One more trade, but who are you going to trade? Because nobody wants the turd buckets you got sitting on your bench.
I could care less if they think that, because I think they're producing and they don't.
He is a good salesman.
Yeah, he is.
All you need to do to be sales is show what the value is, and that's it.
This gentleman could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman like gloves, I believe. But I think he's out of trades. I truly do. I think you're scraping the bottom of the bucket. It's just not going to happen. James, your question.
Will you ultimately be the best that never was? Will you make it all the way through the playoffs this year and lose right before the championship?
I could ask you the same question.
Yeah,
That's
but
very true.
Yeah, but it's the best that never was, not the third best that ever was.
James, you don't have to get angry. Personally, I think I have an incredible team this year, even though Dez got hurt. I think I definitely have a chance to win the playoffs. But every year, the playoffs are basically just sheer luck. For 3 weeks, somebody has
who's
to
hot and who's not.
Exactly.
Right now, we feel like you're kind of like your team is this beautiful castle, but it's sitting on a glass shelf. And that shelf just needs one crack. And
we said earlier that your team is one of the best teams in the league for sure. And, if one of those players, 2 of those players aren't on, and then it's either 50 points or 150 points.
And not only that, but if 2 of those players go down, the problem is you don't have anybody to trade.
Yeah, and you could say that exact same thing about everyone else's team in the entire league.
Not really.
Yes, really.
Other people can fill in players. What I'm saying is you've got to fill in the players. You ain't got nothing to go to.
Ooh. So you're telling me if your quarterback gets hurt, you could fill it in?
This is what I like. I like this spot. Yes, actually, I did last week.
Okay.
Phillip Rivers, he did phenomenal.
Yeah.
Who's your fill-in?
It's Aaron Rodgers. There is no fill-in.
Who's your fill-in if he gets hurt?
Hypothetically, if he tears his ACL like everyone else in the league.
Let's see he has eviscerated sphincter tonight. Can't play Sunday. Who are you playing?
It doesn't matter. You can pick up quarterback value.
My question.
The question was,
who are you going to play?
It doesn't matter. You find somebody on the waiver wire and you pick them up, just like anybody else.
He doesn't answer the question, ladies and folks.
He's like a politician. Let me answer that by asking you this. All right.
So, our third question is, how do you feel about Chris's post last night about you and your tactics, trying to force trades on people that, people aren't clearly interested in?
Well, Chris actually, he said he was interested in talking about trades. I asked him originally who he was interested in my team, and I told him multiple times who I was willing to trade. So we had a 30-minute to 20-minute conversation essentially about nothing, even though he wanted to drag it out into something that wasn't, and he talked about trading AP, and then I told him what players I'm willing to offer, and he still got flustered.
Typical Chris.
Typical Chris.
So you're saying your trades fluster other players?
Well, yes, obviously.
That could be a tactic later in the year before the trade deadline.
Yes, especially since it's getting pushed back. Well, I feel like I've got the last question. Last question. Adam, do you always have to get the last word in a You know what? I don't have time to ask you to finish this question. I was going to ask him if he likes to get in the last word, but it's not going to happen. So we're going to cut to our next segment. That is with Doug. We're going to do some Eat Butt and Shut Up.
Eat butt and shut